Although the fighting of the First World War ended in November 1918, the destruction left behind created enormous political, economic and social problems across Europe and beyond, while the victorious powers faced the challenge of deciding how peace should be organised. In 1919, leaders from the victorious Entente nations gathered at the Paris Peace Conference, where representatives from Britain, France, the US and Italy attempted to reshape Europe and prevent another global conflict from emerging in the future. Among the most influential leaders were US President Woodrow Wilson, British Prime Minister David Lloyd George, and French President Georges Clemenceau, each of whom held different views regarding on how the defeated powers should be treated. Wilson argued for a fair and lasting peace based on his 14 points, while Clemenceau wanted Germany severely weakened in order to protect France from future invasion, and Lloyd George attempted to balance punishment with long-term European stability. The peace settlements that followed will reshape much of Europe and the Middle East, while the defeated Central Powers faced territorial losses, military restrictions, economic hardship and political instability. Bulgaria, which had fought alongside the Central Powers since 1915, signed the Treaty of Neuilly-sur-Seine in 1919, losing territory and military strength while facing economic difficulties and political instability in the aftermath of the war. The treaty reduced the size of the Bulgarian military, forced the country to pay reparations, and transferred territory to neighbouring states, creating bitterness among many Bulgarians who believed the punishment was excessive. Germany faced the most famous and controversial settlement of the post-World War I period through the Treaty of Versailles, signed in June 1919. The treaty placed full responsibility for the war onto Germany through the War Guilt Clause, while Germany was forced to pay large reparations, reduce the size of its military, surrender territory, and accept restrictions designed to weaken its ability to wage war in the future. Many Germans view the treaty as deeply humiliating and unfair, believing that their country had been entirely blamed for a conflict caused by multiple powers across Europe. Economic burdens and territorial losses created anger towards the new Weimar government. Meanwhile, Germany experienced severe economic and political instability during the early 1920s, including uprisings, political violence, and hyperinflation that destroyed savings and damaged confidence in the Weimar Republic. Austria-Hungary completely collapsed following defeat, leading to the creation of separate states including Austria-Hungary, Czechoslovakia. Nationalist movements reshaped most of Central Europe. Austria signed the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye, while Hungary later signed the Treaty of Trianon, both of which imposed territorial losses and restrictions within the region. The peace settlements also redrew the map of Europe, creating new states such as Poland, Czechoslovakia and Yugoslavia, while attempting to apply the principle of national self-determination wrote by Wilson. However, these new borders created additional tensions because many ethnic groups remained divided between different countries, leaving unresolved nationalist disputes across Central and Eastern Europe. The Ottoman Empire faced partition after the war, as Entente powers attempted to divide its territories across the Middle East, occupying parts of Anatolia and Constantinople. This led to the Turkish War of Independence under the leader of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, whose nationalist forces resisted Entente occupation and rejected the earlier Treaty of Severance. The conflict eventually ended with the Treaty of Lausanne in 1923, which recognised the sovereignty of modern Turkey and officially marked the final end of the Ottoman Empire. Many former soldiers and civilians across Europe struggled to return to normal life after the war, while entire societies remained traumatised by the scale of death and destruction experienced during the conflict. The League of Nations was created in an attempt to preserve peace and encourage international cooperation, although major weaknesses within the organisation limited its ability to prevent future aggression. Although the peace settlements officially ended the First World War, they failed to resolve many of the tensions that had caused the conflict in the first place, while economic hardship, political extremism and national resentment continued spreading across Europe. By 1923, the old European order that existed before 1914 had been shattered, with empires destroyed, borders redrawn, and millions of lives permanently changed by the consequences of the war. The First World War had ended, but the world it created would soon face another catastrophe.